Welcome to Guru Gap Healthcare Excellence through Partnership session. Today we explore how medical affairs is evolving from scientific support to strategic influence, especially in MedTech and life sciences organization facing digital disruption. To provide deeper insights, we are joined by Dr. Thomas Koshy, a key member of Munis team with extensive expertise in medical operations and scientific leadership. Throughout his career, he has built high-performing medical affairs organization that seamlessly integrate strategic vision with operational excellence, transforming clinical evidence and technology into commercial value and measurable business impact. Thank you, Dr. Koshy, for joining us today.
Thank you, Kavita, for that kind introduction, and I'm very much looking forward to our discussion.
Dr. Koshy is a MedTech leader with over 2 decades of global experience in medical affairs strategy, clinical operations, and scientific communications. His work has spanned the diagnostics and device industries, where he has led initiatives in digital capability building, evidence generation, and operational transformation. A passionate advocate for efficiency through technology, Dr. Koshy champions data-driven, AI-enabled platforms that unify scientific content, streamline MLR review, and enable personalized HCP engagement. Anything you want to add, Tom?
No, that's a very nice introduction. Thank you.
Let's set the scene with our first topic. From your experience across MedTech, what operational challenges are medical affairs organizations struggling with today?
That's a good question, Kavita. I like that opening. So let's start with the long-standing operational challenges that medical and scientific affairs has faced for a long time. The biggest one is finding the right people. Medical and scientific affairs is a bit of a unicorn because those personnel need to be part scientific and clinical expert, but at the same time, they're a customer service rep. They're not salespeople, but certainly customer service, scientific, clinical, technical customer service. Medical and scientific affairs personnel must be scientifically credible, but they have to be business savvy. Certainly more savvy than your traditional R&D scientist is, who focuses on the development of new products. Our role was and is to be a scientific, technical, and clinical liaison between the company and the customer. Customers can be physicians, other clinical personnel in the hospital, like nurses or hospital administrators or lab personnel. Customers could be patients and patient support groups. And medical scientific affairs is charged with aggregating the scientific, technical, and clinical elements of the product to present a fair and balanced and easy to understand summary of that information. Medical and scientific affairs also supports sales training so the company representatives understand the fundamentals of these matters. So that's one challenge that's always been in place. The second challenge that's always been in place is that demonstrating return on investment is a huge challenge, especially since medical and scientific affairs performance goals must not, by regulation, must not be linked to commercial success. And as such, medical scientific affairs performance evaluation depends on soft metrics, such as the number of customer engagements or satisfaction surveys from the customers and colleagues, things like that. And the last is this current challenge, it's always been around, is this compliance dichotomy between fair and balanced representation of the data and highlighting the strengths of the company's products and services. That said, I can think of at least 3 operational challenges facing medical and scientific affairs today that were not historically there. The first one is what I see as a transition from scientific support to strategic partnership. As I described just now, traditionally medical and scientific affairs focused on commercial-facing support, but now medical and scientific affairs is integrating into product development and pre-launch arenas. Medical and scientific affairs representatives are a team that is both highly educated and has significant access to the voice of the customer and the voice of the patient. And as such, medical and scientific affairs is an ideal contributor to those upstream activities of R&D, commercial strategy, and evidence generation prioritization. Another challenge that I think is facing medical and scientific affairs today is evidence generation beyond the clinical trials. In the years past, the data from the clinical trials is what you relied on, totally. And real world evidence and health economics and patient reported outcomes have always been rich sources of information that goes beyond the clinical trials. But now, with electronic health records, repositories, digitization of those data, we have those data in analyzable formats, and we have the computing power to glean valuable insights from real world evidence, health economics and outcomes research, and patient reported outcomes data. And again, medical and scientific affairs has direct line of sight to these data sets as they evolve. Mm-hmm. So while many companies have dedicated resources to mine real world evidence and develop health economics and outcomes research analyses, medical and scientific affairs are vital contributors to mining these data sets. Did you have a question, Kavi?
No, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Koshy, for highlighting this real world challenges. I wholeheartedly recognize the urgency for medical affairs team to evolve from traditional support roles to strategic partners. This shift is essential for organizations, right, to unlock true value from their scientific and clinical expertise.
Which leads me into that third challenge, which is organizing all that data. And the anecdotal value of the product that medical and scientific affairs hears from customers, because it's massive. And so we need to add data analytics to that unicorn job description of medical scientific affairs.
Perfect, Dr. Koshy. So next we can explore operational excellence and technology enablement. How can digital platform and AI reshape operational efficiency in medical affairs, especially for mid-sized MedTech companies with lean teams?
Yep, that's another big challenge that we need to work our way through here. So as I mentioned, medical and scientific affairs teams, they often collect valuable insights from field medical interactions, publications, congresses, but synthesizing this data is time-consuming and inconsistent, especially for mid-sized companies with lean teams. So AI technology, digital platforms can come to the rescue here, I think. There's a capability there to aggregate key scientific or clinical insights from peer-reviewed literature, congresses, presentations, clinical society newsletters, webinars, CRMs. I mean, there's so much data out there. And then that natural language processing capacity of these tools will really help identify recurring themes and unearth unmet clinical needs. And I think AI tools, digital platforms can present these analyses of disorganized and even anecdotal information into automated dashboards for R&D and commercial teams and medical scientific affairs to really take advantage of it. Lean medical scientific affairs teams are obviously time constrained, and I think AI can help reach more stakeholders by AI-assisted planning tools to identify the most relevant key opinion leaders and discussion topics. These AI tools can go into the cloud, and they can review publicly available emails from KOLs or their recent publications or their Congress presentations and identify new KOLs who are up and coming in a given field that can become spokespeople for the company. And lastly, I think AI can enhance and optimize evidence generation and publication planning. That's a big issue of where do you invest in your evidence generation publication strategy, because the investment is so big and the time commitment is so long. You don't want to make mistakes, because if you make a mistake, it's money that's lost. So with AI tools to enhance and optimize that, we reduce administrative load, we accelerate timelines, and we support getting that evidence-based information with fewer resources. So this is AI-assisted surveillance of the literature, predictive analyses to prioritize post-market studies, and even AI writing assistants to give that first draft on paper, because it's always easier to edit a first draft than it is to start with a blank page. The last comment I'd make on this topic, Kavita, is I've come across discussions about how AI chatbots might displace medical and scientific affairs. And while an AI chatbot might be a good tool for frequently asked questions, I'm skeptical that health information chatbots will ever displace medical and scientific affairs. There's a skill in reading body language and perceiving subtle hints of skepticism or unspoken agendas that require a relationship with that customer, that person, even if it's a relationship within a conversation. And I don't think the AI chatbots are yet ready to take that role.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more with you, Dr. Koshy. Of course, embracing AI-powered platforms is no longer optional for lean medical affairs teams.
Yeah.
By automating insight generation and streamlining workflows, we empower teams to focus on what matters most, driving scientific impact and building stronger stakeholder relationships. So, absolutely agree. Thank you. Finally, we would like to discuss global alignment and scientific communications. In an environment where medical content is growing exponentially, how can organizations ensure scientific accuracy and message consistency across regions? From your perspective, Dr. Koshy.
Yeah, so it's interesting because global. I've been in several companies where there's been a global database or repository. So these things are old news. But what I rarely see is them getting used very effectively. People, and I'll put myself in that category. We have our personal library of tried and true resources on which we rely, and often very successfully so. But why are not those resources being made more available or being used more prevalently? And I think the problem is because there's so much information, processing it becomes a challenge. Because you don't want to, if you process it badly and misrepresent something, you actually hurt yourself better than overlooking that topic altogether. So AI can harmonize those data in those repositories and make summaries which are referenced more accessible and operational, which reduces research workloads, accelerates all processes that rely on these databases, and also reduces errors. So, AI indexed depositories where the data is already commonly stored in consolidated place, AI can detect duplicated and outdated information and prevent accidental use of these antiquated materials. AI can do fact checking and verification, cross-referencing of data from one study to another to make sure that every statement in a presentation or response is accurate, referenced, and aligned with the latest label or publication.
Mhm.
I mentioned auto-referencing to make sure that we're pointing to the right thing, and we're going to have to be careful about that because we've all heard about the hallucinations that AI does. But that seems to be reducing with time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
also, we can use these tools to evaluate the strength of evidence. Once well-trained, an AI tool can assess the strength of a clinical study or group of studies and rank the conclusions against other similar research. And I think that's going to be a real valuable addition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Totally agree, Dr. Koshy. Ensuring scientific accuracy and consistency across geographies is a top priority. I fully support leveraging AI-driven repositories and compliance dashboards to harmonize messaging, reduce risk, and maintain regulatory alignment. This is the foundation for
Yeah.
global credibility.
One more thing I would add is I think AI tools will provide more harmony and consistency in translation, language translation as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I would like to close with this key topic regards to transformative vision and future readiness. If you could implement one transformative solution to modernize medical affairs operations for the industry, what would it be and why?
I think I would advise on the theme that we've already covered on, which is taking advantage of AI-driven analytics capabilities. The amount of data we've always had an overload of data in my mind, and the amount of data that we're generating now per year, per month, per day is just staggering. And so if we can use these AI-driven tools to better manage the data from real-world evidence, health economics and outcomes research, medical and scientific affairs, interactions with customers, advisory boards, key opinion leaders, peer-reviewed literature, Congress presentations, you can see how many sources of data there are. It's more than the human mind can process, and I think computing power synthesizing it is going to be absolutely important, and that's where I would go first. Using AI to aggregate key scientific and clinical insights, natural language processing to identify recurring themes and unmet clinical needs, and then presenting those analyses in organized formats so that commercial R&D and international teams can use them.
Yeah, absolutely. A unified AI-enabled ecosystem is exactly the kind of transformative solution our industry needs.
Yep.
I'm passionate about championing platforms that integrate content, analytics, and governance. These are the tools that will future-proof medical affairs and accelerate innovation. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Koshy. So, with that, this is a closing reflection and a wrap up statement. In today's data driven world, medical affairs teams have the opportunity to move beyond managing information and become true accelerators of scientific insight. By embracing AI powered platforms, organizations can transform complexity into clarity and lead the way in scientific engagement. Munis is ready to partner with you on this journey, empowering your teams to centralize knowledge, automate compliance, and unlock actionable value from every data point. Thank you, Dr. Koshy, for your inspiring perspectives on operational excellence and innovation. To our audience, share your digital transformation stories and join us in shaping the future of medical affairs together. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.